Let us pray. Accept, O Lord, our thanks and praise for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the splendor of the whole creation, for the beauty of this world, for the wonder of life, for the love of wisdom. We thank you for the blessing of family and friends, teachers and classmates, and for the loving care which surrounds us on every side. We thank you for setting us at tasks which demand our best efforts and for leading us to accomplishments which satisfy and delight us. We thank you also for those disappointments and failures that lead us to acknowledge our dependence on you alone. Above all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, for the truth of his word and the example of his life, for his steadfast obedience by which he overcame temptation, for his dying through which he overcame death, and for his rising to life again, in which we are raised for the life of your kingdom. Grant us the gift of your Spirit, that we may know him and make him known, and through him at all times and in all places may give thanks to you in all things. Amen. You may be seated.
Good morning, and welcome to Highlands Latin School 2026 graduation ceremony. Today is important because it gives us an opportunity to pause together in a world that moves very quickly. Graduation asks us to slow down long enough to recognize something that's meaningful. These students did not simply complete courses and earn credit. They spent years growing in wisdom, friendship, perseverance, and character. Today is about honoring that journey. Mrs. Lowe always believed that graduation should feel personal and student-centered. She wanted the ceremony to reflect the lives, the stories, the friendships, and the sacrifices that shaped these young men and women over many years. That is why today is not primarily about awards and accomplishments on paper. It's about people. It's about families and teachers and a community that helped form this class into who they are becoming. This senior class is especially unique because so many of them are younger siblings. Years ago, many of them arrived at HLS following their older brother or sisters into the hallways. Over time, however, this class quietly became their own type of class with their own identity and their spirit. What stands out most about this group is not simply their accomplishments, though they are many. This class is filled with gifted students, athletes, musicians, actors, scholars, and leaders, but beneath all of that is a deeper quality. They are humble, they're thoughtful, they're resilient, and they're supportive of one another. Many of them grew and steadily grew over the years to become more confident, more reflective, and more comfortable in who God created them to be. To the parents, thank you. Thank you for the thousands of unseen acts of love that brought your children to this very moment. The early mornings, the long drives, the prayers, the encouragement, the sacrifices, the faithfulness matters more than you know. This day belongs to you as well. This year, 6 seniors submitted speeches and presented them for consideration as our student graduation address. The quality of those speeches reflected the remarkable depth and the character of this class. After much discussion, we selected a student whose words beautifully capture what this class is about. It is my honor to introduce this year's student graduation speaker, Haley Mathis.
For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Romans 8:18. You have probably heard it said a million times over. HLS is difficult. Us high schoolers hear it almost once a week from Mr. Breland during morning assembly. I'm not going to lie to you. It can be challenging. Even just a few weeks ago, I was stressed over the amount of large projects, deadlines, and big exams that were ahead of me. I wrote this during that time, and I knew then that I would make it through, exactly as I have now. I am not just speaking for myself, though, or only of this past year. Every single person in this room has gone through, is going through, and will go through seasons they aren't sure will end. However, I can say with absolute certainty that they will end, both because of the words of Paul, which I said at the beginning of this speech, and because of my own experience. Every year that passes by is a testament to our endurance and resilience. However, as I stand here summing up my education, I do not want to purely emphasize the rigor of the courses and difficulty of material, because ultimately, it does not matter. Once this graduation ceremony ends and we move into the next stage of our lives, the grades we have will diminish in importance. I'm not trying to discount our achievements by saying this, but rather focus on the most important things about our time here. Our friendships and lessons are important, but neither more so than following the true way. As Psalm 1:1-2 says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of scoffers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night." Our education has been one that points to the future glory that is to come. We are taught that our entire lives should be rooted in Christian truth. Every book, every bit of guidance given, and every friendship throughout these 4+ years can be traced back to this foundation for our lives, a foundation that we should live according to the Christian way. As a result of this, I can look back and see that I have been sufficiently, if not exceedingly, prepared for this day and the many that lay ahead of us. I am confident in the abilities of myself and my peers, for we have finished this season in our lives that is HLS. Now we must go on to the next. Each one of us, as Nellie says in Wuthering Heights, has read every book in the library and gotten something out of it. So, I charge you, younger students, seek the truth that lies within your education. It is easy to ignore what is being put before you and focus on making it to graduation day, but the pursuit of truth is what actually matters. Furthermore, trials will come, and they will challenge you in every aspect, but do not let them rule your life, for there is greater glory ahead. If you seek to glorify God in all you do, and give your utmost to whatever you do, then you will fully understand everything I have said today, and feel the same when it is your turn to cross this stage. You will understand that suffering is not the end, but the Christ-like love you have for the people around you and the truths found in your lessons are eternal. So thank you, teachers, faculty, Mr. and Mrs. Lowe, Mr. Wheatley, and everyone else throughout our high school journey who have taught us, shaped us into the men and women we are today, and guided us through our trials. Without your wisdom, we would not have been able to fully realize the truth in the words that Paul writes in Romans. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Romans 8:18. I hope you take this to heart. Thank you.
stay, on you stay, on you stay, on you stay. Qui tollis peccatum mundi, dona eis requiem, dona eis requiem. Sempiternam, sempiternam, Rex sempiternam.
Turn the microphone a little bit so I can see them. Caitlin Grace Bevel. Caitlin has been a student at Highlands Latin School since kindergarten. She's the oldest of two, and her sister Charlotte will be joining high school next year. Caitlin is one of those students who is present in most places than you realize. In field hockey, she served as a senior captain this year, playing fullback and wingback with a level of enthusiasm and energy that stands in beautiful contrast to her calm, steady presence during the school day. In the house of Patrick, she served faithfully in leadership, showing up wherever was needed. And if you look closely during our productions of Beauty and the Beast and The Sound of Music, and more recently in Little Women, you will have seen her not only dancing and acting on stage and ensembles, she's also worked behind the sets, assembling sets and designing the scenes. For many years, Caitlin has produced a lot and she's worked hard without a lot of fanfare. But if you spend a few minutes with her, you quickly learn that she longs to do work that is purposeful. She has fallen in love with architecture, and I think that fits her perfectly. This is where creativity meets her love of physics and mathematics, where manufactured beauty can move people. In many ways, architecture reflects who Caitlin is. She's disciplined, she's creative, she's deeply thoughtful about the impact that she will leave behind. Caitlin will be remembered as a hardworking scholar who bridged academics, creativity, and service with strength and purpose. She has been a steady foundation in many corners of this school for 13 years. Next year, Caitlin plans to attend the University of Cincinnati, where she will study architecture. Mr. and Mrs. Bevel, thank you for sharing Caitlin with us for 13 years. Congratulations, Caitlin. Caleb Matthew Bryant. Caleb began at Highlands Latin School in the 6th grade. Caleb is the middle child. His older sister, Sophia, has graduated, and he precedes his younger sister, Caitlin. Caleb is, at his core, a builder and a leader. Years ago, alongside fellow graduate Benji Lasoy, they built an air-pressured bottle rocket that deployed a parachute at its apex, and they won first place in the state science Olympiad competition. That early love of building never left him. He joined the robotics team and moved from just helping with design and 3D modeling to serving as the CAD lead and overseeing the entire robot build as a junior. But what has always distinguished Caleb is that he does not seek leadership. He quietly joins things, he works faithfully and diligently, and eventually others entrust him with greater and greater responsibility. Like in the house of Patrick, when organization and structure and thoughtful implementation are needed, Caleb is the person they turn to. Caleb once described a difficult moment when they missed a build specification that nearly disqualified the robot after months of work. As a team lead, he did not look for anyone to blame. He owned the oversight and gathered the team and worked late through the night to make sure the robot was ready. That's true leadership. Caleb is an extremely strong student. He's a commended National Merit Scholar. Caleb has recently accepted an appointment to attend the United States Air Force Academy, where he plans to study aeronautical engineering and pursue flight. He writes that he wants to defend the American people and to give back to those who have served before him. Caleb will be remembered as a builder of systems, a builder of teams, and a very loyal, honorable, and trustworthy student. Mr. and Mrs. Bryant, thank you for the 7 years that we've had with Caleb. Congratulations, Caleb. William Christopher Carper. Will began at HLS in the first grade, and as the oldest in the Carper family, he leads the way for Bethany and Henry. Like many oldest siblings, Will carries a lot of responsibility. Will also joined the robotics team, but in 10th grade, and there was a moment that Will questioned whether he really belonged in that group. He felt he did more harm than good, but instead of stepping away, Will stayed, and due to the encouragement of his friends, over time, Will became a lead programmer for the robot. Yet the most telling part of this story is not the programming and the perseverance. It's what happened when a new member joined the team recently, and he was struggling to find his footing. Will remembered what it felt like to be uncertain. He remembered what it felt like to be new and not to know their way around. He saw himself, and Will made it his responsibility to draw in that student, to make him feel at home. Will notices the people that are on the outside or on the fringe, the person who's uncomfortable in the crowd or in a new environment. Will possesses a steady empathy that makes others feel seen. In the classroom, Will has excelled, particularly in math and science, and outside of the school, he has shown remarkable discipline too, earning a black belt in Taekwondo, and I believe he's working toward his second degree belt if he hasn't already earned it. Something like that. Will be remembered not only for his academic skill, but for his intentional decision to lift others up as he grew in confidence and stature. Next year, Will plans to pursue a degree in computer science and engineering at Lipscomb University. Mr. and Mrs. Carper, thank you for sharing Will with us for 12 years. Congratulations, Will. Josiah Anthony DeCapua. Josiah started at Highlands Latin School in the 6th grade. Josiah is the oldest in his family with his sister Jaira just behind. Josiah is one of the rare students whose talents stretch in many, many directions. He is a National Merit Commended Scholar, an honor and an award that is roughly only bestowed upon 1% of high school seniors. On the speech and debate team, he earned Best Speaker Awards and helped lead the team to a league title in 2025. I recently observed in U.S. history debates where they argued over the justification of dropping the atomic bomb in World War II, how good of a debater Josiah is and how quickly he will attack a point if an opponent leaves an opening. He is very quick and he's very clever. On the stage, he has played both principal and supporting roles in many of our HLS productions. Perhaps my favorite was his portrayal of the ghost of Bob Marley in A Christmas Carol. He was simply amazing. And beyond school production, he plays guitar and bass and sings beautifully. Josiah is just very talented. But having many talents can make choosing a direction or a path more complicated. And I think Josiah has many interests, and that sometimes it's difficult to stay focused on one. But that is just a young person's problem, and that with time and wisdom and faith, I'm confident that Josiah will use all of his gifts and talents wisely. Josiah will be remembered as a gifted young man, learning to harness those talents. He has grown in maturity and grace, and especially in his faith. Next year, Josiah plans to attend the University of the Cumberlands, where he intends to major in nursing with a minor in business administration. Mr. and Mrs. DeCapua, thank you for sharing Josiah with us, and congratulations, Josiah. Connor William Gilchrist. Connor began at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten. He is the youngest of 4 Gilchrist children. Connor has always appeared pretty easygoing. He enjoys life, he's laid back, he's not opposed to gently pushing the envelope either. Like the day I saw him walking down the hall with a very sad-looking Christmas tree, decorated with, let me say, questionable celebrity ornaments. But I said to Connor, put that in my office, And he said, yes, sir. No debate. The lightness, however, sits on top of a developing discipline. Connor worked for 3 years mowing grass, making sandwiches at Subway, and saving every dollar he could earn to purchase a GT86 Toyota. It is is that right? Okay. It's a very nice car. It's one that Connor likes to drive right up to the speed limit, I'm pretty sure. Never over. But more meaningful than the car itself was the way that he learned to care for it alongside his father, developing mechanical skills and shared memories. Connor and his dad connect over cars, and I believe that's wonderful. That same type of commitment also to earn a car also saw Connor achieve the rank of an Eagle Scout, spending countless hours leading younger scouts and serving faithfully week after week. On the soccer field, Connor would play wherever I needed him to play. Left side, right side, it did not matter. He simply wanted to contribute, and still that pass to Benji in the district tournament game is a piece of HLS history. Connor worked hard in the classroom, and I remember watching him and Dr. Riddlemeyer spend more than 3 hours preparing for a test on Monday. It was dedication. Connor will be remembered for his loyalty, that easy spirit, and a steady work ethic beneath it. Next year, Connor plans to attend the University of Louisville, where he intends to pursue mechanical engineering. Mr. and Mrs. Gilcrease, thank you for sharing Connor with us these past 13 years. Congratulations, Connor. Kira Lynn Gertner. Kira started at Highlands Latin School in the 3rd grade. She is one of 3, her older brother Daniel and her younger sister Alicia. Kira is the kind of student who just holds things together. She is, in many ways, like a very talented supporting actress in a great movie, whose presence makes every scene work and whose absence makes it feel deeply missed. For Kira, it was the drama troupe where her voice began to grow and we could see her grow as well. It gave her the confidence to step forward to speak and to develop her own voice. Whether on stage or in the classroom or on the soccer field as a member of the varsity soccer team, Kira has consistently shown up with a quiet commitment and a sincere care. Kira has served the House of Patrick with creativity, developing the story and the costume design for the HLS Derby race last year. Kira seems to work hard behind the scenes, and that work builds support and makes things around her better. Kira is also a very gifted writer. Her voice is shaped by her own experience of feeling uncertain or shy at times and learning what it means to find her own place. Because of this, she carries a deep empathy and compassion for others. She notices students who are uncomfortable or nervous, and she tries to use those gifts to include them. Kira will be remembered for her kindness, her gentleness, and her strength, and the kind that does not demand attention, but changes people for the better. Next year, Kira plans to attend Charleston Southern University, where she intends to study psychology and continue developing her writing. Dr. and Mrs. Gertner, thank you for sharing Kira with us for so many years. Congratulations, Kira. Jackson Todd Hamilton. Jax started at HLS in kindergarten. As the youngest of 5 Hamilton children, he has seen a lot of HLS graduations. Jack is exceptionally bright. He engages in complex subjects like calculus, theology, and philosophy with ease and a very deep curiosity. Mrs. Turrell wrote when Jack was in 10th grade that Jack's City of God essays were the best she had ever received in style and understanding of that text in the 6 years that she taught the course. Jack's thinking and the clarity of his writing is second to none. It was not a surprise to us that Jack was recognized as a National Merit finalist. But what really stands out most about Jack is how he carries himself. He is efficient, but he's patient. He's fiercely competitive, but he's humble. There are moments in his freshman year playing varsity soccer when he struggled against a right winger against Mail. I took him out of the game, and he was upset, but he didn't say anything. He sat down, and then he quietly walked over and said, "Coach, am I doing something wrong?" And I said, "Yes, Jack, that right winger is killing you." And he sat back down, for a few more minutes, and he looked like he was deep in thought. I didn't know if I made him mad or not. But then he stood up, and he said, "Coach, I'm ready to go back in." So I put him back in, and from that point forward, I don't think I ever took Jack out of a soccer game. He figured it out. Jack is also very grounded in his faith. He told me he started reading the Bible when he was in third grade. Jack is anchored in his faith, and it is from this where I think he has his calm and steady presence. Jack carries that with him everywhere he goes. Jack will be remembered not just for his sharp mind and competitiveness, but also as a young man searching to become who God has intended him to be. Next year, Jack plans to attend Samford University on an Air Force ROTC scholarship, where he will pursue a degree in law enforcement with the hope of becoming a special agent with the FBI. Dustin and Beth, thank you for sharing your family, and especially Jack today with us, but also Emmy, Lily, Natty, Bo, David, all of them. Congratulations, Jack. Luke Harding Hamilton. Luke began at Highlands Latin School in the 9th grade. As one of 5 children, he followed in the footsteps of his older brothers, Jake and Jed, both of whom left strong marks at this school. From the beginning, Luke stepped into an environment where the standard had already been set pretty high for him by his brothers. And for someone as competitive as Luke, that matters. He might have battled that comparison a little his first year, but he did not run from it. He came to realize the challenge before him and chose to meet it head on. In the classroom, Luke quickly proved himself, excelling in demanding courses like AP Latin and AP Chemistry, and found particular meaning in the study of Anna Karenina, a work that challenged him and helped shape his thinking. Mr. Breland speaks of a great conversation he had with Luke at the conclusion of the book. I believe Luke is just starting to discover his very strong academic aptitude. But in athletics, that competitive drive is visible and fully activated. Across cross-country, basketball, and baseball, Luke developed into not just a strong athlete, but a really elite one. On the basketball court, there were nights when he was simply unstoppable, finishing his career second in all-time scoring at HLS. And on the baseball field, which is probably his first love, Luke distinguished himself as both a pitcher and a middle infielder, earning all district honors all through high school and all region recognitions last year and probably this year. The only thing that will slow Luke down in athletics is the realization that he is also an extremely gifted scholar, one who is very inquisitive and thoughtful. It is wonderful to see a student becoming so balanced between athletics and academics. Next year, Luke will continue his baseball career at Carson Newman University, located in Tennessee. He's undecided on his major at this time. Dr. and Mrs. Hamilton, thank you so much for sharing Luke with us these last 4 years. Congratulations, Luke. Look at it. Reese Renee Harstein. Reese began at Highlands Latin School in Junior K. She is the younger of 2 Harsteins, her older brother Braxton having graduated 2 years ago. From a young age, Reese made her presence known at HLS. Reese always makes her presence known at HLS. I remember her in carpool lines asking for U.S. history trivia questions along with her brother. More often than not, I was the one struggling to keep up with them. She has always loved to think, to debate, and to engage in ideas with conviction and joy. That spirit carried naturally into her leadership role as captain of the debate team during her junior and senior years. Reese is not afraid to take a stance, to challenge ideas, and to defend what she believes. You see that same competitiveness on the soccer field as well. Though small in stature, Reese played midfield with fearlessness, never backing down from physical play. In fact, I think she sought out physical play. Her competitive spirit was also visible with the House of David. Reese and the Harstein family are deeply committed to the House of David, and this year she served as the Minister of War, leading the strategy and helping guide the House in pursuit of victory. If there ever was a role for Reese in the House, it was the Minister of War. But what makes Reese truly remarkable is the balance that she carries. While she is tough, she's disciplined and fiercely competitive. At the same time, she can be gentle, attentive, deeply, deeply loyal to her friends and those who are in need. This year, Reese experienced the loss of her father, and our entire school grieved alongside her. It's a weight that she carries, and yet through her faith, she continues to bring the same energy, hope, and joy to those around her on a daily basis. That kind of strength has been inspirational, and it comes from her faith. Lastly, as I approached this day, I confronted Reese with a rumor at lunch that she wanted to teach history or literature at HLS. And she said, "No, that's not true." She said, "I want your job." You can have it. No. Next year, Reese plans to attend Boyce College with a desire to major in history, literature, and theology. And yes, Reese, you can come back here and teach at any time. Mrs. Harstein, thank you so much for sharing Reese with us this year, and congratulations, Reese. Michaela Helms. Oh, I don't have a middle name. Michaela Helms. Sorry. Sorry, Michaela. Michaela started at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten and is the fourth of 5 Helms sisters to have graduated from HLS. Michaela's story is one of real growth. She will be the first to tell you that school has not always come easy, but in upper school, she recently told me that math has always been a real struggle for her. I had to stop her right there. Because you see, Michaela's junior year in pre-calculus with Mr. Hernandez, there was a time when we were all a little worried. I was worried, Mr. Breland was worried, Mr. Hernandez was worried, the Helms were worried, but Michaela wasn't worried. But I have no idea what changed in her, but she started to lean into this class, really, taking on the challenge head on and stayed after school, came early. She asked for help again and again, and her scores slightly moved up, and it was impressive. But what I told Michaela the other day was to stop saying that you're not good at math, because this year in AP Calculus, she's earning an A. I saw one of her exams, and it was simply amazing. I honestly have never seen such a turnaround in math ability as I witnessed in Michaela. She is very good at math, and thanks to her hard work and Mr. Hernandez's diligence, she is a math scholar. At school, she often appears quiet and composed, but there was one day at lunch when I sat with Michaela and Mrs. Day, and I saw another side of her. Before we headed off to Rome, she shared a story about how her parents met on a college trip to Rome. It began like a typical love story, and then it took a few really odd turns. Michaela told the story as straight-faced as can be, and the entire lunch table was just laughing and laughing. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Helms. You're going to be asked about it. No, it was fine. Michaela has a great sense of humor. She's very funny, and that sense of humor really surprised me. Michaela applied to enter a very competitive University of Cincinnati Blue Ash College of Dental Hygiene program and gained admittance. I'm sure if Michaela loves dentistry, I would not be surprised to see her turn around and enter dental school a few years from now as well. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Helms, for sharing another one of your wonderful daughters with us at Highlands Latin School. Congratulations, Michaela. Maxwell Wayne Ingram. Max started at Highlands Latin School in the 9th grade. He is the middle of 3 children, following his sister Maria, who graduated a few years ago, and precedes younger brother Seth. Max, in many ways, is a very creative person. He's an extremely strong student, especially in math and science, but his talents extend far beyond the classroom. He plays lead guitar in his church main worship. He helped run a lawn care business with his younger brother, and he is an excellent woodworker and carpenter, crafting cutting boards, nativity sets, and other pieces that he sells at local fairs and markets. He is actually quite good. While Max seems to create things with his hands, as Minister of Culture this year for the House of George, he took on the responsibility of being the heartbeat of the house. Max always invests in others, he encourages involvement, and he creates a sense of belonging. Everyone is welcome when Max is around. He has done the same thing through the involvement with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, through his running of the cross-country team and basketball for 4 years, through daily interactions with classmates and teachers. Max's resolve was tested when he suffered an ACL tear and surgery his junior year. It required surgery and months of recovery, but he never seemed down or to be even angry through the physical setback. But everything like Max approaches it with patience, a good humor, and faith. That same patience was tested when he was waiting for medical clearance to apply for the United States Air Force Academy. There were some really tense moments when we thought that Max might not get cleared, but when he finally received medical clearance, he was immediately accepted, and he will follow Caleb to the United States Air Force Academy this year. Max writes that he hopes to invest in this community with the talents God has given him and to make the world around him better for others. That is exactly what Max has done at HLS in just 4 short years. Max will be remembered as a man of character, a creator, and someone who strengthened this community by his simple, good presence. Next year, Max will attend the United States Air Force Academy, where he will serve and protect our country. Mr. and Mrs. Ingram, thank you for sharing Max with us, and congratulations, Max. Joshua Rayer Lamb. Josh started at Highlands Latin School in the 4th grade. Josh is the middle son between Corbin and Ezra. Some students shine in ways that demand attention through leadership, athletics, or academic awards. And then there are students like Josh who shine in ways that are easy to miss, but once you see them, they're impossible to forget. Josh carries himself with confidence and humbleness, which is so rare at this age. He is perfectly comfortable in who he is, and that quiet assurance makes him stand out in ways that a spotlight never could. Josh's story begins in an unexpected place. He was born in Qatar in the Middle East, and he lived there for 7 years with his family. Josh's father is a pilot. Josh grew up around planes, developing a deep fascination with flight. But fascination alone doesn't get you in the air. Josh started working on his pilot's license, studying and spending countless hours in the air. He put in the hours, he logged the hours, and he completed his solo flight. And if you didn't know any of this, which I didn't, that is exactly the point. Josh does not announce these things. He just does them. That same quiet confidence shows up in other ways. On stage, Josh surprised me with his comedic timing in Beauty and the Beast and in Hello, Dolly. Stepping into roles so effortlessly. He is an amazing actor and singer. Outside of school, he's been helping his family build onto their home, learning carpentry, framing, drywall, and more. Not for recognition or money, just because he wants to know how to do it. Josh is dependable, generous, and faithful. In a few short words with Josh, you can tell that he loves God, and he is so gentle in the most biblical way possible. Josh will be remembered not for what he said or accomplished, but for what he did quietly for others and how he reflected kindness and love by just being here. Next year, Josh plans to attend the University of Kentucky, where he plans to major in Russian studies. Mr. and Mrs. Lamb, thank you for sharing Josh with us, and congratulations, Josh. Hazel Heiseko Lannon. Did I say it wrong? She'll correct me, sorry. Hazel started at Highlands Latin School in 9th grade and is the oldest in her family, with 2 younger brothers behind her. I have to admit, for much of this year, I would see Hazel in the hallways and around campus, and my mind would tell me that she was a junior. And I was always shocked a bit and disappointed when I remembered that she was a senior. I think that says something, because Hazel has grown very much over the past 4 years. She was a good freshman, she had a strong sophomore year, but something around their junior year really clicked, and her growth as a student was apparent. She just became so joyful and energetic, and it was just wonderful to be around. And if I'm being completely honest, I think part of me wishes that we had one more year with Hazel. Hazel has been a steady presence in our drama program since her freshman year, bringing a beautiful voice and her energy to the stage, as you saw. She was recently showcased in our Good Friday programs and other musical endeavors, and she's a gifted pianist and a performer. But what I didn't really know until I read in one of her essays that Hazel truly loves the smell of chocolate chip cookies baking in her grandmother's oven, and she loves spending time with her grandmother baking cakes, cookies, making strawberry jam, not just for them, but for others. And that experience has actually shaped her in a meaningful way. Hazel writes that she dreams of opening a bakery someday, placed with good music, I'm sure, good food, but really people gathered together. And I could really see Hazel doing that, because Hazel brings people together. She's warm, she's kind, and she's happy, and that makes others feel at home. Next year, Hazel plans to attend the University of Kentucky and major in business administration and marketing. Mr. and Mrs. Lannon, thank you for bringing Hazel to Highlands Latin School. It did go too fast. Congratulations, Hazel. Benjamin Joel Kipkala Lasoy. Did I say that one right? Nope. Hopefully Mr. Lowe gets them all. He's got it. Benji started at Highlands Latin School in the first grade. He's the youngest of the Lasoy children, with Jonathan and Cara having already walked across this stage. I will always remember Benji when he was young, because he would always wear a bright neon sleeveless shirt in the dead of winter. I would look at him and think, what is Benji doing? And then I'd see that huge smile. There it is. And it warms your heart and makes you wonder sometimes, though, what has Benji done? But Benji has always brought that joy with him wherever he goes. Benji was a member of our varsity soccer team for 4 years. He may not have played a lot of varsity until his senior year because I had him wrongly pegged as a defender. That was my fault. But his senior year, he became our starting striker, and Benji became our second leading goal scorer. He scored 2 game-winning or game-tying goals against our arch-rival Atherton, a distinction that will earn Benji a free steak dinner from me once every year. Come find me, Benji. Benji also woke me up at 3 a.m. on the men's retreat. The fire alarm was going off in our cabin because Benji and his roommates thought it would be a neat idea to cook pancakes on an electric griddle in a log cabin. I went to the door, and there was Benji with spatula in hand, shaking his head, saying, "Sorry, Mr. Wheatley." It was fine. Benji is really, truly a wonderful young man. He's rooted in service. He works on production sets for the drama troupe. He faithfully serves in FCA, and he proudly wrote in his college essay that he has been an awesome younger brother. By providing emotional support to his family and doing the dishes his entire life. That's what you get for waking me up at 3 a.m. No. I think it's fair to say that Benji is a character in the best sense of the word. I've really loved getting to know Benji, and I think he's headed in the right direction. Benji will be remembered for his faith, his great sense of humor, and that big smile. Next year, Benji plans to attend the University of Louisville, where he plans to major in mechanical engineering. Mr. and Mrs. Lasoy, thank you for sharing your family, and especially Benji, with us today. Congratulations, Benji. Stephen Maximus Laprelle. I've known him as Max. He's going by Stephen. I'm not sure. But Max started at Highlands Latin School in the 6th grade. He is the youngest of 3 Laprelle brothers, following Matthew and Michael, who have already graduated from HLS. Max grew up moving from place to place as part of a military family, with his father serving in the United States Air Force. From an early age, that life seemed to suit Max. Max is, at his core, a problem solver and a very disciplined person. In the classroom, he has excelled in math and physics. He was instrumental, alongside his brothers and his father, for bringing this robotics program into the HLS atmosphere. Max has served as both the team captain and the programming captain over the years. Max's passion and influence quickly drew in his friends. Up until last year, I always thought Max was 100% all STEM student. Max would tell me, Mr. Wheatley, I do not like Latin. And I would say, Max, you are at Highlands Latin School. You're taking it. But something changed last year. I started noticing that Max seemed to start asking questions in literature and metaphysics courses that did not necessarily have easy solutions. Questions about faith, existence, purpose. As Max writes in one of his essays, for a time, that was very unsettling. He couldn't figure it out. But Max was putting a very logical brain to very difficult, complex problems, and Max is a very deep thinker. And I believe it's through that process that Max began to build something that's more important than a robot or strong test scores. Max was fortifying a foundation of faith, one that had already started but began to steady and shape him over the last 2 years particularly. That growth has shown itself in his leadership too, as he has served as the head of house for Andrew. He's earned an Eagle Scout badge. He's run cross country for 4 years and worked on the set team for the drama troupe. He is also a commended National Merit Scholar. Next year, Max will attend the United States Air Force Academy, following in the footsteps of his father and choosing this path of service. Max will be remembered for his very mathematical and logical mind, but also for his willingness to use that mind to wrestle with questions of faith and ultimately decide that a foundation built on Christ will never falter. Mr. and Mrs. LaPrelle, thank you for sharing your sons, and especially Max, with us today. Congratulations, Max. Annalise Lowe. Annalise started Highlands Latin School in junior kindergarten, and it's the second of 5 Lowe children following Baxter who will graduate from HLS. For much of her early high school years, Annalise was exactly what you would expect. She was steady, kind, polite, quietly doing everything that was asked. She made good grades, carried herself with grace, and moved along in all of her classes. But then something changed. It was before her junior year that Annalise chose to take this summer pre-calculus course, a demanding 4-week intensive class where you have to maintain a 90% average, and if you pass the class, you can move on into BC calculus as a junior. She found herself as the only girl in a classroom that were full of boys who were deeply engaged in robots and in mathematics, philosophy, puzzles. This was a new world for Annalise, and she didn't run away. As she passed the summer pre-calculus class, she was invited to take BC calculus her junior year. And I believe it was that challenge that changed her. It was not just mathematics. I believe it was the realization that she could step into something that's unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and not only succeed in it, but to grow. And that she did. And from that point forward, I believe Annalise began to say yes to lots of things that she never would have done before. She joined the first girls varsity soccer team. She helped to found and lead the hospitality club. She continued a second grade science club that Mrs. Brainerd started a few years ago. The quiet, steady student was still there, but now she was a bit more adventuresome. I saw this firsthand in Rome. It was late one evening, and about 12 of us were on our way to the Sublican Bridge, where Horatius once stood his ground, and found ourselves stopped by what was quite honestly an impassable crowd. Hundreds and hundreds of people were packed in the streets celebrating something we had no idea what it was. Shoulder to shoulder, I hesitated and said, "We're going back." And Annalise said, "Nah, let's go through them." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And that's the type of person Annalise is. Let's just go through it. She's kind, she's steady, and now she's adventuresome, and she will take on challenges. Next year, Annalise will attend the University of Notre Dame, where she plans to study physics. Is that right? I made that up. Annalise, your dad said you're studying physics. No. No. But thank you, Brian, Mrs. Lowe, and all, and Annalise. Congratulations. Corinne Adele Magar. Coco. Coco started at Highlands Latin School in junior kindergarten and is the youngest of 3 Magar children, following Tess and Max. Coco really is an ideal student. She's steady, she's consistent, always prepared, goes with the flow. She is an ideal student because she trusts her teachers. When we make mistakes, and we do, and we assign too much homework or do something like that, Coco is at least not yelling at us to our faces. She's very, very easy to work with. She seems to always give a person the benefit of the doubt. I think Coco is exactly the kind of student every teacher hopes for. But if I'm being completely honest, students like Coco are easily overlooked. Not because they lack anything, just because they are so consistently good. They need very little direction. A few years ago when I was in Rome with Mr. Lowe, he said for me to try pistachio gelato, and I looked at it and I thought it was horrible. I said, I'm not going to try that. He insisted, and it was excellent. I challenged I challenged all the seniors this year when they were there to try pistachio gelato, as Mr. Lowe had challenged me. They all said the same as me and said no, but not Coco. She said, I'll try it, but she added a wrinkle. She said, if I do not like it, you owe me a coffee in the morning. She said, but if I do, I'll buy you one. And of course, Coco owes me a coffee. But Coco is that playful, sweet, fun to be around, ready to take on challenges type of student. The same spirit that shows up in the classroom. In AP Chemistry last year, when the work got very difficult, Coco took charge. She organized a 7 a.m. tutoring session with her teacher and invited everyone from the class. But more importantly, that spirit shows up in how she sees others. During a mission trip to the Dominican Republic, Coco experienced both the ecstasy and joy of serving others and the real challenge of returning home and losing a little sense of that purpose. And I see that she is still trying to maintain that in all that she does in school and in her life. Coco understands that her gifts are not just for herself, but they're used to be shared with others. Coco helped to start that first girls soccer team at HLS, and she is a phenomenal soccer player. She helped recruit the players to join the team, and in what last I heard, there are 20 girls now that want to play soccer at HLS. Next year, Coco plans to attend Lipscomb University, joining Tess and Max, where she will study exercise science. Mr. and Mrs. Magar, thank you for sharing Coco with us. Congratulations, Coco. Haley Lucille Mathis. Haley began Highlands Latin School in the 7th grade and is the oldest of 2, with her sister Grace right behind. Haley lives with conviction. She's not afraid to speak, not afraid to step in, not afraid to stand firm in what she believes. And that confidence is not arrogance, nor is it off-putting. It's grounded in purpose. Haley is fiercely loyal to her friends. When someone or something in their lives feels unjust or unsettled, Haley does not stand by quietly. She steps in, she advocates, and when necessary, she can be relentless. You see that same spirit on the soccer field as well. As a member of the first HLS girls team, Haley plays with that type of intensity. And when teammates are pushed around, you could tell that Haley was not liking it, and she would get involved as well. But if you really want to know Haley, you need to watch her on a stage. Over 4 years in the HLS drama program, Haley has developed into an exceptional actress. She does not simply perform the role, she becomes it. In her portrayal of Jo March in Little Women, Haley carried the story with such strength, emotion, and yes, conviction that Haley can draw in an audience and hold them there just by saying a few lines. And that same spirit shows up in the classroom. Haley is a very strong student, excelling in courses like AP Chemistry, AP Latin. And this year, when she had the choice of taking a physics class, she picked AP Physics C, the most demanding course that we offer at HLS in the sciences. She did not have to take this class. She took on the challenge for a unique purpose. Haley is going to pursue an aerospace engineering degree next year, and she knew that this course would prepare her for that path. She took on the challenge not to prove something, but to become serious about where she is going in life. Next year, Haley will attend the University of Florida to study aerospace engineering. Haley will be remembered for that conviction, that loyalty, and the way that she brought strength and beauty to this community in 6 short years. Mr. and Mrs. Mathis, thank you for sharing Haley with us, and congratulations, Haley. Maxwell Lewis Mitchell McFarland. Max is the fifth of six in a very close and remarkable family. Max is, without question, one of the most accomplished students that we have had at HLS in 23 years. I had to go back and look, and maybe his older brother Alexander, but sorry, Alexander, are you here? Max is good. Max is the leader. No. Max is a National Merit finalist, a Governor's Scholar, an AP Scholar with distinction. He has taken on the most demanding academic course schedules that we can offer. Last year alone, BC Calculus, AP Chemistry, AP European History, AP Latin, AP Literature. And yes, Max is the only student that has ever successfully negotiated with me a reduced amount of AP Latin homework. And I had to go to Mrs. Beer with that. That alone might have been Max's greatest accomplishment. But Max is a young man that carries a lot of weight. As a lead designer on the robotics team, he holds responsibility for that work, and that must not only be excellent in theory, but achievable in practice. Others depend on Max, and Max feels that, and you can see it on him at times. On the soccer field, whether he was playing or on the sideline, Max was always invested. He was tense in overtime matches on penalty shootouts. I remember looking over and seeing Max, and he was not relaxed. He was very nervous, and everything was weighing on him heavily. He feels the pressure, but he's willing to shoulder the load too. As the head of the house of David, he carries a lot of responsibility of leading others people, organizing, motivating, and holding together something that's larger than himself. And through all of this, he doesn't complain, well, at least not to me, but he does not step away from it. He carries it. But how Max is allowed to carry so much is that he is founded in his faith. Max is a very faithful young man, and in weekly morning prayer groups with classmates and with Dr. Scahill, Max has learned that he is not carrying these burdens alone. He is a young man who understands that the path before him is not in his complete control and that he needs to trust and follow. Next year, Max will attend the United States Air Force Academy as well, joining fellow HLS graduates Max and Caleb. If your name is Max, you got a good chance of getting in the Air Force Academy. No. But thank you, Mr. and Dr. McFarland, for sharing your son with us this year and for the countless ways that your family has supported Highlands Latin School. Congratulations, Max. Beck William Meyer. Beck started Highlands Latin School in Junior K and is the middle of three brothers, following Owen and just ahead of Emmett. Beck is one of those students who can quietly amaze you and occasionally frustrate classmates because he seems to understand things before a lesson even begins. Whether it's philosophy or calculus or European history, Beck sees things clearly and very quickly. His academic achievements are extraordinary. Based on his PSAT score alone, and this exam was used to determine national merit status, Beck earned a 228 index score. That is a perfect score, something that has never happened at HLS. Beck is the best of the best among the national merit finalists. But that is not what makes Beck special, and in fact, I don't think Beck cares that much about that at all. What I remember most about Beck is that while school and academics may have come easily on paper, he was always searching for how we fit into a very complex world. Recognition and achievements never define a person. And I had the opportunity of coaching Beck when he was very little in 4th through 6th grade. And I can tell you that no one worked harder in practice. Nobody did that. And no one cared more about the team than Beck. Beck will still tell me that he loved playing on those basketball teams at Crescent Hill. And I loved it when Beck tells me those stories because I really loved coaching Beck as well. But even as a little 4th grader, he seemed like he wanted to be part of something that mattered, something that had a true purpose. Beck writes eloquently about his grandfather's decision to leave Sweden and everything he knew behind in order to attend college and build a new life in the United States. You can see it in Beck's writing that you can tell that he has a tremendous amount of respect for a man who knew what his mission was and he went out and did it. Beck may be searching for that purpose a touch, but I am confident he will not simply follow the crowd or do what's expected. Beck is moving towards the person he is meant to be, and I know that he will find it. Next year, Beck will attend Vanderbilt University, where he plans to study economics. Mr. and Mrs. Meyer, thank you so much for sharing Beck with us. We are all very proud of him. Congratulations, Beck. Greta Elise Miller. Greta started at Highlands Latin School in Junior K and is the youngest of two, following her sister Ruthie, who graduated a few years ago. Greta is very focused. She's all business in the classroom, fully engaged, using every minute. In all my years at HLS, I've difficult to recall a time when Greta was not prepared, attentive, and not giving her best. She does not draw attention to herself, but simply does the work. And she does it exceptionally well. When I was reviewing transcripts, I noticed something striking about Greta's. Through her freshman, sophomore, and junior years, Greta earned all A's, which a lot of students can do that. But what struck me most is that her lowest grade never dropped below a 96. Most students are quite aware of where that line is to earn an A. Greta is not aiming for that line. She's aiming for excellence. And after looking at that, how did Greta develop such a habit for excellence? And I think that habit grew from Irish dancing that she's been doing since she was 6 years old. Over the years, she competed at the very highest levels, advancing through increasingly difficult competitions across the country. Irish dance demands precision, discipline, and endurance, requiring striving for perfection. That discipline did not stay with her when she stopped doing the dance. It became who she is. You can see it in the classroom, you can see it in her leadership as a varsity field hockey captain, and you can see it in the way that she quietly contributes to her house and to the life of the school. If there was ever a student who made excellence look routine and normal, it would be Greta. Next year, Greta will attend the University of South Carolina, where she plans to major in business administration with a focus on real estate and finance. Mr. and Mrs. Miller, thank you for sharing Greta with us and for all your years of support at HLS. Congratulations, Greta. Lydia Suzanne Moran. Lydia started at Highlands Latin School in the 9th grade. Lydia is the third of 4 Moran sisters, with Kara and Anna having already graduated. Lydia is another HLS graduate who has spent many years sitting in the audience watching her older sisters walk across the stage. In a school like ours, there are not many different pathways to graduation, and yet Lydia has found her own way. Most people desire to be known or remembered or to leave a legacy, but Lydia has shown us something a little different. Schools and institutions do not really remember awards or accomplishments very long. They remember the people that remember you are those that you loved, support, and helped. And that is what Lydia has made her mark. Over the past 4 years, Lydia has been quiet, but she observes. She is kind, she's steady, she's dependable. She makes strong grades and performs well academically, but more importantly, she is a friend that people can count on. Her teachers speak of her honesty, her forthrightness, and her reliability. And in many ways, Lydia has begun caring for others in that deep way. Even while balancing the demands of school, she has taken somewhat of a maternal role at times and looking out for those around her. You saw that in athletics as well. On the basketball court, Lydia's a strong player, and she's always encouraging and lifting up her teammates. And when she joined the soccer team as a senior, never played before, she stepped right into a starting role and learned how to play a very good left back and right back. Lydia writes about her love for children as well, especially babies, and her desire to care for them. Through her work in the church nursery, she has developed empathy and compassion that is already shaping her future. Lydia plans to become a neonatal intensive care nurse. I had 2 children that spent time in the NICU, and I can tell you that those nurses are true angels, and I could see Lydia easily joining those ranks. Next year, Lydia will attend the University of Kentucky to pursue nursing. Mr. and Mrs. Moran, thank you for sharing Lydia with us, and congratulations, Lydia. Levi Stephen Naw. No nickname. No. Levi began at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten and is the second of 4 Nall brothers, following Clayton and just ahead of Judah and Bennett. Levi, like all the Nall boys, is an accomplished distance runner, and he is a very competitive guy. Levi is known more for his work than for his words. He is quiet and not a man of many words, at least when I'm around. And if I'm being completely honest, I did not fully notice Levi until he lost the very thing that defined him. During the winter break of his freshman year, Levi broke his leg while skiing, an injury that kept him out of the spring track season. I remember seeing Levi being pushed around from class to class in a wheelchair and relying on others and his friends to help him along the way. He never looked too comfortable with that, particularly when they were pushing him up and down the hill going to lunch. I think he was going to break his other leg. This was not an easy time for Levi, and Levi wrote about how returning to running brought frustration. His times were not what they once were, and for a moment he just considered quitting altogether. But Levi grew and learned something. He had built part of his identity on just being fast, and he had not much thought about what it was if he was not a fast runner. In this very brief identity crisis, something changed in Levi, and he worked his way back. His times improved. His teammates encouraged him and supported him, and they celebrated this progress, and Levi started to do the same for them. Levi wrote that what I once cared about were just my times, but now I was more concerned about my teammates' times. And I think that is the real growth in Levi. In the classroom, Levi is a gifted scholar, taking on the most rigorous course loads that we offer. He's a committed student to Greek, showing up at 7 a.m. every Friday morning, week after week, year after year, for 4 years, to deepen his understanding and to even translate the Gospels in Greek. Levi has served faithfully in the house of David with his brothers Judah and Levi in carpool. They dominated the service award category this year, and Levi recently earned the Glenmore Outstanding Service Award at HLS because he is a true servant to the school. Next year, Levi plans to attend Western Kentucky, where he will study mathematical economics with a concentration in actuary science. Dr. and Dr. Nall, thank you for the 13 wonderful years with Levi. Congratulations, Levi. Ashrey Neotia. Ashrey started at Highlands Latin School in the first grade, following his older brother Tanae, who graduated a few years back. Ashrey is a very serious scholar. He has taken 9 AP exams during his time at HLS. 3 of those subjects we do not even offer. And yes, he passed them all, and he is a commended National Merit Scholar, a Governor's Scholar, where he pursued his interest in business. It is clear that Ashrey has taken full advantage of every academic opportunity available, but what makes Ashrey really stand out is beyond that. During his sophomore year and junior years, Ashrey co-founded a chess club for 3rd through 6th graders. At first, I wondered how he would connect with the younger students. Ashrey is very cerebral and he's formal. But in the instructions to 3rd graders, I saw clear, patient, engaging, and very relational work with them. I've never seen Ashrey like that with the students, and that work helped lay the foundation for our middle school chess team that started just this year. You will also find Ashrey volunteering at Norton Brownsboro Hospital, taking on whatever task is needed. You will find him tutoring students at Kumon, helping with both math and reading, and he does all of this while carrying that academic load. Ashrey is busy, but he's not too busy for people. He's personable, he's thoughtful, and he enjoys connecting with others. Whether in the classroom, discussion, a basketball game, or when he is hosting for 2 years straight the house talent show for Patrick. Ashrey plans to become a doctor someday, specifically an orthopedic surgeon. It's a demanding path and one that requires discipline and focus, but he already has that in spades. But more importantly, he cares about people. He takes time to understand people around him, and because of that, Ashrey will not just be a skilled surgeon, he'll be a compassionate one. Next year, Ashrey will attend the University of Louisville, where he plans to major in biology. Mr. and Mrs. Neotia, thank you for sharing Ashrey with us for all these years and for your support of HLS. Congratulations, Ashrey. Brian Logan Potlitzer. Logan started at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten, following his older sister Lily, who graduated a few years before. Logan spent 4 years on the varsity soccer team as well, and he may not be remembered well for the most minutes, but he may have been one of our most valuable players. I remember one especially hot Saturday where we were getting beat 4-0. We were dragging, and quite honestly, I got frustrated, and I was hoping the game would just end. It was hot. And then I hear Logan. He starts yelling encouragements, coaching, and then he starts yelling more encouragements. Logan was just not quitting. And honestly, it made me realize I needed to stop feeling sorry for ourselves and coach this team better. These are the lessons that I learned from Logan. Logan brings energy and belief into every difficult situation. And perhaps part of that comes from his own story. When Logan was around 8 years old, doctors discovered a tennis-sized tumor in his brain. Surgery came quickly, and Logan was understandably scared. But by his side and through it all was his mom, his dad, Lily, and his guardian angel, Pop-Pop. Logan endured not one, but 2 surgeries, and even had to relearn some basic motor skills afterwards. And through it all, Logan just wanted to get back on the baseball field. That tells you all you need to know about Logan. He will move forward with positivity and love. In the classroom, Logan credits Mr. Hernandez's pre-calculus class with teaching him to push beyond what he thought he was capable of doing. He writes, "I love math, but I don't think I'm always good at it. Mr. Hernandez reminded me to trust that I know more than I think." Logan is one of the most fun-loving and loyal people you will ever meet. That is why I believe Logan will someday make a great coach. Players will follow him because he brings energy, but he believes in them. And he will refuse to quit when things get difficult. Next year, this die-hard U of L Cardinals fan will attend the University of Kentucky, where he plans to study sports administration. Mr. and Mrs. Potlitzer, thank you for sharing Logan with us for these many years. Congratulations, Logan. Estelle Rose Rayleigh. Stella started at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten and is big sister to Julia. I knew Stella for many years, but I did not really come to know her until her freshman year. And I will say this, she is one of those students that is well worth knowing. Stella's kind, she's thoughtful, but more than that, she carries a depth about herself that's rare. Many students feel for their friends when something goes wrong, a tough moment, a tough game, a difficult situation. That's a common kind of empathy. But Stella responds differently. When situations are small, she brings clarity. She encourages others to take responsibility and do what's right. But when situations are heavy, that's when Stella steps in. She walks with people through pain. She's willing to sit in difficult places with others, offering not just comfort, but her presence. She's a light to those who need her the most. And that kind of care comes at a cost. To carry the burdens of others, even in small ways, requires strength. It requires faith. And Stella has had to draw deeply from both. She's grounded by her family, supported by her friends, and she's renewed by her faith. And you can see it lived out in her life. Stella serves in church disabilities ministry, in her church's disabilities ministry. She is part of the teen board at Norton Children's Hospital, building relationships with patients and helping lead fundraising efforts. She's an active member in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and a steady presence on the basketball court, where she's developed into a very reliable three-point shooter. It's no surprise that Stella feels called to nursing, but specifically, she wants to do oncology nursing. She's choosing a path to be with the people who are at their most vulnerable and where her presence will matter the most. She'll be remembered for the way that she cared for others, never from a distance, but always up front and close where it counts. Next year, Stella will attend the University of Kentucky, where she plans to major in nursing. Mr. and Mrs. Rayleigh, thank you for sharing Stella with us for so many years. Congratulations, Stella. Molly Robson. Molly started at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten and is the youngest of three, following her brothers Luke and Eli, who graduated. If you were to describe Molly in one word, you might say that she's quiet. And Molly would probably agree with that. But she does not seek attention and does not feel the need to stand out. But if you stopped there, you would really miss who she is. In the Gospel of Matthew, we read, "Blessed are the meek." And meekness is often misunderstood. It's not weakness, it's actually strength held in reserve. It's discipline guided by humility. That is Molly. She's very strong. She just doesn't need to show it. But behind that quiet presence, there is a fierce competitor. In track, Molly runs some of the most demanding races, the 800 and the 1600 meters. These races require speed, endurance, and strategy. You're pushing, you're pacing, you're enduring discomfort the entire time. And Molly never backs down. I love watching her race. And on the basketball court, she's a fearless point guard. The ball is always in her hand. She sees the floor, directs the action, and makes players around her better. She does not need to be the star. She simply needs to help the team. And that makes her a leader. On the soccer field, despite not having years of experience, Molly developed quickly into a player that I could see understood the game, where to be, and more importantly, how to anticipate where to be. And she contributed in very meaningful ways. Molly is a great athlete. But what makes Molly truly remarkable is something that she does. It's just something, that's not what makes Molly truly remarkable. It's just something she does. She is just at home teaching herself how to play the guitar, lead a fellowship of Christian athletes prayer session, serving with her family at a summer camp with children with special needs, or quietly working through a creative project, even attempting to build something like a sand-powered automaton just to see if she could bring it to life. Molly does not perform for others or chase these earthly things. She lives for a greater purpose. She carries both strength and peace, someone who can compete fiercely and love deeply, someone whose quiet confidence is rooted in her faith. There's something quite unique about Molly Robson, and it's been a gift to watch her grow over the years. Next year, Molly will attend Murray State University, where she plans to pursue nursing. Dr. and Mrs. Robson, thank you for your many years of support, and thank you for sharing Molly with us. Congratulations, Molly. Jensen K. Royals. Jensen started Highlands Latin School in kindergarten and is the oldest of 4 children. And like many oldest siblings, Jensen has also carried herself with a sense of responsibility. She sets a strong example through work ethic, character, and a steady way that she approaches life. She is an excellent student, a strong athlete, a loyal friend, and someone teachers know that they can completely trust. But what I've enjoyed most about watching Jensen over the years is seeing her grow in confidence. Jensen shared a story from her freshman year during a varsity field hockey game when she was a freshman. It was senior night. The game went into overtime, and her coach asked if she was ready to go in as a freshman. Internally, Jensen wrote that her mind was screaming, "No way." But she did not want to make a mistake, and she didn't want to let the team down, but she went in anyway. And moments later, Jensen scores the winning goal of the game. I think that moment says a lot about who Jensen is becoming. Over the last 4 years, she has consistently chosen to step into challenges even when she did not feel fully ready. That takes a lot of courage. You see that in the classroom as well. Jensen is a recognized, commended National Merit Scholar, and so she is an elite academic scholar as well. As a junior, Jensen took AP Latin, one of the toughest academic classes, and she challenged herself. Today, you'll even find Jensen helping younger students grow in Latin through summer tutoring and help like that. You will also see her behind the scenes, serving in the drama troupe, running lights with Annalise and others, supporting her younger brother while he is on stage. With both of her parents being veterinarians and graduates of Auburn University, I assumed that Jensen was heading down the similar path when I learned that she was going to Auburn. But she plans to study law and justice. Jensen is a freshman that once doubted herself in overtime, but has grown tremendously in confidence and spirit, and she's making her own path. Next year, as I said, Jensen will attend Auburn University and currently has a plan to study law and justice. Dr. and Dr. Royals, thank you for sharing Jensen with us. And congratulations, Jensen. Ryan Gregory Shuddy. Ryan is the second oldest of 4 Shuddy children, following Claire with Luke and Kate a few years behind. Ryan is truly himself when he's helping others. You can see it immediately in his face. His energy lifts. There's a genuine warmth that comes alive when he's around younger students or children. Some people are kind because they need to be and they're supposed to be, but Ryan is completely natural in this environment. Ryan's father passed away shortly before his twin siblings were born, and in the years that followed, Ryan stepped naturally into a role of helping care for and support his younger siblings. What could have been a source of bitterness and anger instead deepened his compassion and maturity. Recently, Ryan shared his desire to become a pediatrician someday, and I immediately thought when he said that is exactly right. Ryan's journey through upper school was not always easy, but there were difficult moments when he struggled. But even during those difficult seasons, he never stopped being a light for others. And over time, that light has only grew stronger. Ryan is an outstanding student. He challenged himself with the most rigorous courses that we offer. I like to call Ryan and myself, he's sneaky smart, because the accolades seem to pile up and you just never realize it. Ryan is a commended National Merit Scholar, if that's being sneaky smart. He nearly earned a perfect ACT score as I was going through things. He earned a 36 in math, English, and reading, and since they don't offer the science anymore, I think he had a perfect score on the ACT. But this year, Ryan served as the head of house for Patrick, which won the house competition, where he did an excellent job leading students alongside Mr. Warren and Mrs. Roy. And each summer during the Memoria Press Conference, Ryan serves as a student liaison and stands out through his humility and professionalism. If there was ever a representative of Highlands Latin School that I would want other schools to see, it would be Ryan Shuddy. Next year, Ryan will attend the University of Kentucky, where he plans to study bioengineering while pursuing the pre-med track with the hopes of becoming a pediatrician. Heather and Scott, thank you for sharing Ryan with us for these so many years. He is a remarkable young man. Congratulations, Ryan. Reagan Lee Shepard. Reagan is the oldest of 3 and will precede Hadley and Ledger across the stage. Reagan began at Highlands Latin School in the 9th grade, which is no easy place to begin in Latin. While many of her classmates were beginning to translate Julius Caesar, Reagan was starting with the first declension, exactly where many of our 3rd graders would be. But Reagan was determined. She completed Henley 1 as a freshman, Henley 2 as a sophomore, and rather than taking the recommended path to Latin selections, she fought to take AP Latin. At the end of that difficult course, Miss Beer commented and congratulated her on a strong Latin year, and Reagan earned a 5 on the AP Latin exam, the highest score possible. Now, if you're thinking Reagan is simply an overachiever and only interested in grades, you would be completely wrong. Reagan loves and longs for what is good, true, and beautiful. She writes about the prudence of Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, the sacrifice of Sidney Carton in A Tale of Two Cities, and the moral vision of Dante in the Divine Comedy. Reagan sees the world not merely as it is, but how it should be. And because of that, she feels that tension between beauty and brokenness, between noble ideas and human weakness. And that can make life hard for her at times. But I think that is why she loves drama and music. On the stage, Reagan shines. She's an exquisite actress and has brought strength and emotion to many HLS productions and musicals. Through storytelling, through music, and through performance, Reagan helps others see the beauty more clearly and feel the truth more deeply. Her beautiful singing voice has blessed our Christmas cantatas and Good Friday programs and here today, and she's been a proud member of our Madrigal Choir for a long time. It is no surprise to me that Reagan helped start the book club and the poetry club at HLS. Reagan Shepard will be remembered as an HLS student, as someone who pursued the highest ideals and worked tirelessly to share them with others. Next year, Reagan will attend Hillsdale College, where she plans to major in Latin. Mr. and Mrs. Shepard, thank you for sharing Reagan with us these past 4 years. She has made this school and this community better. Congratulations, Reagan. Lydia Marie Shinneberry. Lydia started at Highlands Latin School in the 2nd grade. She is the youngest Shinneberry, following her older brothers, Levi and Luke. For a long time, Lydia was difficult for me to read. She's always quiet, always polite, always respectful, and maybe I thought she was a little shy. But then last April, I was sitting in my office in the upper school building when I heard a guitar playing down the hallway. At first I ignored it, but then I stopped and listened very carefully. And I heard a strumming pattern that was unusual and it was creative, and then came the singing, and it was excellent. I remember thinking, who is that? So I walked into the room and I was genuinely surprised to see Lydia sitting there playing the guitar and singing. I had absolutely no idea she possessed that kind of musical talent. She honestly sounded like a professional musician. Then I started to think about the other moments I've seen Lydia, whether she was playing a hilarious ensemble role in Hello, Dolly with perfectly timed facial expressions and theatrical reactions, her solos during the cantatas and ceremonies, including this one today, her involvement in the handbell choir. I slowly started to realize that Lydia had not been very quiet over the years and that she was contributing a lot to the HLS culture in very meaningful ways. She's creative, she's athletic, intelligent, possesses a very dry sense of humor that I particularly like. She has been an excellent volleyball player for HLS since the 7th grade and has even considered becoming an athletic trainer. But this year, Lydia was selected to serve as the head of House of George, where she worked closely with Miss Beer and Mrs. Day and her fellow house members to organize a winter carnival for our entire 3rd through 6th grade, a huge endeavor. In many ways, Lydia is a reminder to me to not let a first impression stay static. Lydia is quiet and soft-spoken, but that is only one layer. Beneath that quietness is someone that's remarkably creative, talented, and thoughtful, and deeply engaged in the life of HLS. Next year, Lydia will attend Pensacola Christian College, where she plans to study media ministries. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Shinneberry, for sharing your family with HLS for so many years. Congratulations, Lydia. Nolan Chad Smith. Nolan started at Highlands Latin School in the 5th grade. He's the middle son between 2 sisters, Paisley and Presley. I really got to know Nolan through soccer. On the field, Nolan looked like he was always thinking. He's disciplined, dependable, he's safe. Nolan preferred supporting others, like any good defender, would prided himself on not making mistakes. That worked very well until his senior year, when I needed him to start at center back. Center back is not a safe position. It requires leadership, communication, quick decisions, and a willingness to move on after a mistake is made. Before the KCAC championship game, I scouted an opponent, and they had an extremely fast forward who attacked down the middle, right towards Nolan and Lucas. It made me nervous. About 10 minutes before the game, I talked to Nolan, and we decided to completely change our defensive philosophy and positioning. I looked at Nolan and said, "Can you do this?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And we won the game 1-0. And Nolan was a huge part of that victory. From that point forward, he became a clear leader on the defensive line. That growth really captures Nolan well. He has always pushed himself to do the right thing and to be the right example for others. Nolan holds himself to a very high standard and can often be his toughest critic. But last year, I checked in on Nolan because his academic workload was so intense. The AP Chem, the Latin, the calculus, the English. And every time I checked in with him and said, "Nolan, how are you doing?" he would give me a thumbs up and repeat Mr. Breland's famous phrase, "Too easy." One thing I admired most about Nolan was how he genuinely loves his family. The Smith siblings clearly care about each other, and there is something refreshing about watching them laugh and interact with one another. Nolan hopes to follow in his father's footsteps and someday become an orthopedic surgeon. Next year, Nolan will attend the University of Louisville and has already earned conditional acceptance to the U of L Medical School when he successfully completes the pre-med requirements and performs well on the MCAT. I am confident that Nolan will meet all those expectations. Thank you, Dr. and Mrs. Smith, for your years of trust, friendship, and support. Congratulations, Nolan. Lucas Matthew Trier. Lucas started at Highlands Latin School in kindergarten. He is the youngest of the two Trier boys, following his older brother Hayden. One thing that has always stood out about Lucas, particularly in these last 2 years, is his sincerity and of his faith. Over the last couple of years especially, Lucas would occasionally ask me a very simple question: what are you reading in the Bible right now? There was something genuine behind that question. Lucas was not asking out of an obligation or to make small talk. He truly wanted to know. In many different ways, that captures who Lucas is. He seems to move through life at a different rhythm than most high school students. And while many students may be understandably be focused on grades and recognitions and keeping up with the crowd, Lucas has always seemed more interested in truth or faith in the people around him. That does not mean he has not contributed greatly to HLS. He's been an excellent soccer player and a baseball player, and the Trier family has been deeply invested in the athletics at HLS and in HLS in general over the years. This season, Lucas played right alongside Nolan, and his athleticism, his speed, and his effort were invaluable for our soccer team as the other center back. One moment from this season that especially stayed with me, but it describes Lucas perfectly, is that in one game, he put his hand up and asked to come out. I took him out and I asked him if he was hurt, and he said, "No, Gabi needs some playing time, Coach. You're going to need to play him next year." That response tells you almost exactly what you need to know about Lucas. He's thoughtful, he's patient, he's faithful, he's constantly aware of the needs of others. Lucas is not simply someone who reads the Bible. He's trying to sincerely live it. Next year, Lucas plans to take a gap year where he's going to focus on mission work before attending Boyce College, where he hopes to study youth and family ministry. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Trier, for your encouragement, support, and friendship over the years. Congratulations, Lucas. Just now noted. Matthias Trocan. Matthias started Highlands Latin School in Junior K. He is the middle child in the Trocan family, following older sister Elia and younger brother Gabriel, who is entering 10th grade. I did not arrange the speech this way, but it seems like we're all about soccer right now, because we have Nolan, we have Lucas, and Matthias was our goalie. In the district finals against Trinity, he had one of the best games as a goalie I'd ever seen. That night, we were playing great. We were down only 2-1. But we ended up losing the game. But after the game, several coaches and parents came up to ask me where that goalie had come from. They wanted to know what college he was playing at. They were stunned to learn that this was only Matthias' second year playing soccer. He was that good. Academically, many things have come naturally to him over the years. He's a Governor's Scholar, an AP Scholar, a National Merit Commended Scholar. And while I'm sure Matthias studies hard, it seems his deeper passions has often been focused around competing alongside his friends and representing his school through athletics. I had the opportunity of coaching Matthias when he was younger, and simply getting him to dribble consistently or rebound aggressively felt like progress. But over time, he worked so hard and developed into a very good outside shooter and eventually a strong player. During his senior year, Matthias was counted on quite a lot. What I admire most about Matthias is his willingness to place himself in a difficult, highly visible situation where success is never guaranteed. A goalie is not an easy spot. Athletics require a unique amount of courage because all of your preparation, all of your composure, all of your resilience is tested publicly in real time for all to see. I believe those experiences shaped Matthias in a meaningful way. They taught him perseverance, confidence, teamwork, and how to respond under pressure. Next year, Matthias plans to study engineering, a path that seems perfectly suited for him. Given his intelligence, his discipline, his steady demeanor, he will be very successful. Thank you, Mr. and Dr. Trocan, for your years of encouragement and support at HLS. Congratulations, Matthias. Edward Walter Wheatley. Edward started Highlands Latin School in junior K. He joined his older brothers, Ballard and McKay, and we drove our Nissan Titan down the Shelbyville Road each morning to this campus. Along the way, we named every traffic light, and we tried to beat them before they turned red. I was constantly encouraged from the back seat to run the red lights, and I got loudly booed when I stopped. Our goal was to arrive by 6:45 a.m. One morning, we set a personal record when we pulled into this parking lot at 6:32 a.m. Edward was ecstatic. He was pumping his fist in celebration. I am not sure if Edward is really alive at 6:32 in the morning anymore now. He's tough to wake up. The boys would sprint through this building, turning on lights and checking classrooms before anyone arrived, and that was our routine, and I honestly miss those mornings very much. Now, 13 years later, Edward has become one of my final senior narratives. One of the difficult realities of being my son at HLS is that school life and home life are never fully separated. Most students are given time and distance to self-correct. My children rarely had that luxury. To make matters worse and make it more complicated, I coached Edward in soccer, which meant he could never fully escape me. As a soccer player, however, Edward is perhaps the most gifted passer, vision-oriented player I have ever coached. He sees the field differently than most players. With one pass, one shot, he can completely change a game or the direction of a match. I absolutely loved coaching Edward, even when I was really hard on him at times. Next year, Edward will continue playing soccer alongside his brother McKay at Transylvania University, which has become a bit of a powerhouse in Division III soccer. One of my favorite memories of Edward was not school-related at all, which is probably correct. It happened a few summers ago while our family was eating at El Tarasco. Suddenly, several young boys came running into our table, yelling and screaming for Edward. I didn't know who they were. They knew him, though, from Camp Hi-Ho, where he had been a counselor that year. It was obvious to me how much he invested in those kids and how much they loved him. They would not leave our table. I do not get to see that side of Edward very often. He tries to play the son of the head of the school and a burden that he never chose to carry. There was a mention that Edward may have thought at one point that he'd not done enough to live up to that standard. But I honestly cannot remember a single time in 13 years that Edward did not show up for his classmates and, more importantly, for me. Edward, you've done everything that you needed to do. You've done it for a long time. I'm very proud of you, and I love you. Congratulations, Edward.
Caitlin Grace Bevel. Caleb Matthew Bryant. William Christopher Carper. Josiah Anthony DeCapua. Connor William Gilchrist. Kira Lynn Gertner. Jackson Todd Hamilton. Luke Harding Hamilton. Reese Renee Harstein. Michaela Lucille Helms. Maxwell Wayne Ingram. Joshua Ryer Lamb. Hazel Hilsako Lannon. Benjamin Joel Kipkalia Lasoy. Stephen Maximus Laprelle. Anne Elise Lowe. Corrine Adele Magar. Haley Lucille Mathis. Maxwell Lewis Mitchell McFarland. Beck William Meyer. Greta Elise Miller. Lydia Suzanne Moran. Levi Stephen Naw. Ashray Neotia. Brian Logan Potlitzer. Estelle Rose Rayleigh. Molly Ray Robson. Jensen K. Royals. Ryan Gregory Shuddy. Reagan Lee Shepard. Lydia Marie Shinneberry. Nolan Chad Smith. Lucas Matthew Trier. Matthias Trocan. Edward Walter Wheatley.
Now hear these words of blessing and benediction. As you go, remember, in the goodness of God, you have been brought into this world. By the grace of God, you have been kept to this very moment. And by the love of God, fully revealed in the face of Jesus Christ, you are being redeemed. So take your hearts and love through them. Take your minds and think through them. And take your lives and be the life that you need to be through Jesus Christ our Lord, in whose name we pray. Amen.
Forget to smile. You all look like you. It's a smile. Good smile. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you the class of 2026, Highlands Latin School. Parents, we are going to, if you all like to come forward, take some pictures up here. We're going to stay for a little bit if you like. And then also, I believe there is a small reception in the fellowship hall. It's behind us this way. You can follow the crowd. I think it's raining outside. So if you want to join us, we have some reception in fellowship hall if you'd like. But come forward, take some pictures, and the stage is yours. Congratulations. Thank you, parents.